A Tale of Two Hygienists presents this week's TIPisode, quick and easy tips to keep you up to date and presented by the experts in the profession. Now, get ready for your unofficial TIPisode.
This week brought to you by TempStars.
Hello, fellow dental professionals. This is Dr. James Younger. I'm a practicing dentist and the founder and CEO of TempStars. First, I would just like to thank Andrew and the team at A Tale of Two Hygienists for this chance to speak to you in this TIPisode. You know, they've been providing really valuable content to the dental professional for years, and I'm just pleased to be a part of it. So just a quick background about TempStars, just so you get an idea of who I am. TempStars is North America's fastest growing dental temping and hiring service. We currently connect over 14,000 dental hygienists and assistants with more than 5,000 dental offices in North America for temping and hiring, and we're growing daily. We've been around since 2016. We've completed tens of thousands of dental temping shifts, and we're expanding to cities in the US. So today I just wanted to talk to you about the dental job market. Just by the nature of me leading and growing TempStars, our team and I, we have a real finger on the pulse of what the dental temping and hiring landscape is like, and I just wanted to maybe offer some insights, perspective on what the current state of the job market is, and how as a dental hygienist or assistant you might be able to best navigate it. So just to start off, I can tell you there's two things that describe the dental job market right now. One is that it's in a state of flux, and the other is that dental hygienists and assistants are in high demand. Now, what do I mean by flux? COVID threw the whole world into a bit of a rodeo, with dentistry being no exception. I mean, over the last couple of years, we've all seen shutdowns, reopenings, restrictions, mandates being imposed and lifted. And, you know, our family and friends and coworkers getting sick and recovering, and just the overall uncertainty and anxiety of it all. So with that came a big shuffle. Some dental offices were reopening at reduced capacity, smaller teams, maybe the patient flow was less, and some were being more selective about who on their team they were bringing back and that sort of thing. And on the other side of things, I mean, there's dental assistants and hygienists who are deciding maybe they didn't like the office they were working at. Maybe they're looking for a change. Maybe they're not feeling safe going back to work yet. They could be making a career change into a different field, taking early retirement, or just holding off until things feel safer. And on top of that, we've got dental hygiene and dental assisting schools that were graduating new graduates at reduced capacity because of the shutdowns and restrictions and things like that. So it just means there's less new dental hygienists and assistants entering the profession. And then if we take on top of that, it gets exacerbated because every industry, construction, hospitality, everywhere is feeling the same pressure about a shortage of people to fill positions. And so not only are dental offices kind of competing with other dental offices for great talent, but we're also now competing with other industries that might be trying to tempt dental professionals to make a move out of dentistry. So, I mean, what does all this mean for dental hygienists and assistants? Well, all of the challenges in the job market do mean that it's kind of a great time to be a dental hygienist or dental assistant looking for work, because the number of available positions is exceeding the number of people who are available to fill them. And so if you're listening to this as a dental hygienist or a dental assistant, you're in a good spot when it comes to this dental job market. Now, we all know that job markets everywhere are cyclical. Sometimes, and in the past, there's been a time where there's kind of an overabundance of dental hygienists or assistants looking for work, not that many positions available, and sometimes it's the opposite. And that's the case right now, meaning if you're a dental hygienist or assistant, you're in high demand, which is an enviable place to be, but at the same time, I think it takes some thoughtful consideration about how to navigate this job market when you're in demand. So I just thought I could offer maybe some insights, perspective, and suggestions about navigating this job market when you're in high demand. So to start off with, the first thing to realize is, one, you have options. If you're looking for work, if you're not currently employed, you've got options. There's going to be, in most areas, many postings. You'll be going on interviews and maybe getting multiple job offers. And at the same time, if you're in a current work situation, we know that dental offices, in terms of the healthiness of their cultures, the quality of leadership and management, it spans the entire spectrum. And so luckily, kind of the poorly managed, toxic work environments that are dental offices are rare. But if you end up finding yourself in a situation where you feel like you're not being treated with respect as a dental professional, you're being treated poorly, you feel like you don't belong, that sort of thing, just know that you have some options. Now, I'm not suggesting everybody leave their job right away, because even if you're in a situation where you're unhappy at work, your first step is always to have a professional, respectful conversation with the dental office owner, the manager, and just kind of, in a professional, respectful way, explain to them your feelings, what you're seeing, and what concerns you might have about working there. And certainly because they might not know. And so, explain it, give them some time, see how things go and see if there are improvements. But if they're not, I just don't want you to feel like you're stuck, because there are quite a lot of opportunities out there. There are some very well-run dental practices with good, healthy cultures and great leadership and effective management, things like that. So you have options. So if you end up being in a bad work situation right now, after you have those conversations, explain your concerns, but just know that you'll have options if you want to look for somewhere that feels a little more like your work home. There's a lot of factors to consider when you're thinking about where you're working and your professional life. There is certainly salary, wages, benefits, all of that is very, very important, but just don't discount the value of finding a great dental office where you feel like you belong, with a healthy team culture, where you're treated as a professional with respect and that sort of thing. So if you're considering your current job or you're looking at prospective jobs, I would just caution anyone against chasing that next couple dollars an hour at the cost and risk of maybe finding a place where you're not treated as well with respect and as a professional. So my advice is just really consider the whole picture of what your work life looks like when you're working at a certain office. And again, related to that, it's also important to realize the grass isn't always that greener on the other side. Because when you go in for a job interview, and as someone who's interviewing, you put your best foot forward, you talk up all of your strengths, and maybe there's a little bit of embellishment and that sort of thing. But you have to realize the dental offices are doing the same thing, and especially in this job market. So you could be going in for these interviews and the job sounds fantastic and this person is really wowing you in the interview. But then there's the reality of your start date and what it's like to work there. And sometimes offices are just as guilty at embellishing things as anybody else is. So just be aware that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And so just be really thorough in the questions you're asking during your interviews and really try to get down to the essence of what it would be like to work there. Speak with other people who are working there, other people on the team at the time, just to see if you can get a real genuine feel for what it would be like to work there. The next thing too, and this is just the nature of the job market, but just remember that all job markets are cyclical and regional. And so it's a great time to be a hygienist right now or a dental assistant looking for work, but it's important to give consideration to your current or potentially new employer, because what you don't want to be doing is taking advantage of a situation or quote unquote gouging or asking for exorbitant hourly rates or really hardballing about it. Because the job market is cyclical, at some point in the future, it's going to swing the other way. But the other thing is, dental offices might be in a hard spot right now, and if they feel as though you might be taking advantage of that situation, you could be setting yourself up for maybe some tension or animosity on the team. Maybe the office, they're in a pinch and they say, okay, we can do that, but they feel a little taken advantage of, and they might even subconsciously or subversively be setting you up to fail to show that you're not worth that amount of money, or they might have an unrealistic expectation of your superstar performance at that rate sort of thing. So I would just be cautious about kind of taking it from the angle that, oh, this is a great time to be a hygienist. I'm going to squeeze out everything I can out of every opportunity I have. So just be considerate of the team and the business and the place that you might be working. And again, consider that whole picture about what it might be like to work there. And then lastly, and this is something I'm just a big proponent of, even when I'm speaking with dental office owners and managers, I'm a big advocate of self-reflection. And so even dentists and office managers and people running businesses, and sometimes they are the cause of their own problems, and they're saying, oh, why can't I find good people? But then you kind of dive in and you say, well, it's because of these problems and they're under your control to address. And so because I'm a big proponent of that, I'll just also leave you with this thought that sometimes there's room for self-reflection. And so if you're bouncing between job to job and you're feeling unfulfilled and you feel as though there's really nowhere you belong or that you're always being treated poorly, sometimes it's helpful to stop and just think, how am I being at a dental office and how am I contributing to being a positive member of a team? And am I highly skilled and committed to great patient care? And do I energize people when I speak with them? And do I take the initiative to ask people if I can help them? And is my focus and intent to serve others as a healthcare professional? And do I come to work on time and not miss shifts? And all of those sorts of things, those are things that might be worth thinking about just if you're frustrated about moving from job to job and really always feeling unfulfilled or unsatisfied or being treated poorly. Sometimes it helps just to take a moment to reflect on how you're being as a member of a team. So that's it for this TIPisode. Thanks for listening. And like I said, I really appreciate the time that you've spent listening to this. I hope maybe you found some value or insights in it. Thanks again to A Tale of Two Hygienists for the opportunity. And as I mentioned, TempStars is the dental temping and hiring service you're actually going to love to use. So if you want to check us out, if you're looking for temping shifts or a permanent position, we're at TempStars.com. It's always free for dental hygienists and assistants to use our service, and we only charge $29 for a temping shift for dental offices. And it's true that we keep our temping fee as low as possible to give dental offices a bit more wiggle room when they're considering your hourly rate, because we genuinely want to see you as hardworking fellow dental professionals making the money you deserve and making the money, and not it necessarily going to us. We are there to provide a service and to provide connections, but we want to see you making the money that you deserve. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the next TIPisode.
We hope you enjoyed this week's TIPisode. Be sure to reach out to our guest experts and let them know how helpful their tips were. Follow A Tale of Two Hygienists on Facebook, Instagram, and head over to ataleoftwohygienist.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You can also email us at ataleoftwohygienist@gmail.com and keep listening for more awesome content from your unofficial dental hygiene podcast.